Today on The Wild Medic, we're interviewing Dr. Glen Singleman, world record documentary filmmaker, base jumper, wingsuiter, deep sea adventurer, and all-round expedition extraordinaire. Tasmania, who's also a senior emergency physician in emergency medicine and a very serious expert in base jumping and all sorts of other things. Glen has done probably more exciting expeditions on super yachts than I have, and not many people get to say that as a doctor. And anyway, without further ado, I will let you introduce yourself. Glen, welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks, man. Lovely to be here.
So good. And you're sitting in 38 degrees in Australia at the moment, is that right?
Yeah, it's a bit, very much the other side of the world. They say kind of down under, and we're having a really down under day today it's really blisteringly hot. And it's going to be 41 tomorrow and for the next 3 days. So yeah, everyone here really gets worried about the bushfire risk because we've got a forest just on the other side of the farm. So we're kind of ready. Everybody around here has to be prepared for this, product of the lifestyle down here.
And if anyone's prepared for emergencies, it would be you. So what would be the top most exhilarating things you've ever done?
Well,
give me the top 5.
I guess it's very hard to beat doing a wingsuit base jump off the highest cliff in the world. It's pretty hard to beat that. And it's also pretty hard to describe because when nobody really has a lexicon of experience that covers A covers base jumping, B covers mountaineering, and then B covers high altitude mountaineering capped off by the highest wingsuit base jump in the world. So it's difficult to say, hey, it was fun, hey, it was good, hey, it was exciting, because it was the culmination of years of planning, preparation, work, getting ourselves fitness, getting the best technology that we could get, and then facing a really brutal physical environment. We did a wingsuit jump off the top of a mountain at 6,604 meters, which is about nearly 22,000 feet. So it took us 3 weeks to climb up there to get acclimatized to the altitude and all that stuff. And then to be at that altitude and stand on the edge of a sheer cliff that's 800 meters or 2,000 feet, like straight down between your toes, there's 2,000 feet of nothing, and then launch yourself into that nothing. That was one of those, the psychologists call it a peak experience, one of those sort of transcendent moments when you go into what the psychologist Csikszentmihalyi calls flow, where you you must perform to your perfection, or you can get hurt or killed. So you're in this zone where you transcend time, you transcend what you thought were your physical and mental limitations, and you don't think in words anymore, you think in pure action. And that, to be in that zone is to, without sounding too corny, it's to be the best you can be. You have to be the best you can be. And understanding that you can, that you are capable, everybody really is capable of so much more than you thought possible, is a profoundly moving and mind-altering experience. And that, I mean, that was one of, that was number one, I guess, in the 5 top whatever. But all of the experiences and all the expeditions I've led and all the things we've done, for me, it's all about the expedition, the external journey being a metaphor for the internal journey. Because that's what I get the most out of in expeditioning, is how when you go to extreme and remote environments, then you have to find extreme and remote resources within yourself to deal with the environment that you're in. So you're meeting parts of yourself that you didn't even know were there, and finding these resources and these aspects of yourself. That's an incredibly fulfilling and exciting and self-revelatory experience, which is the sort of the passion, I believe, the passion of expeditioning. It's what, I mean, when I read Shackleton's diaries, and that's and Amundsen's diaries and Scott's diaries, that's what they were all there for. Yes, they coded it with, we're here on a scientific experiment, but really they were on this personal journey for themselves to find out about these deep unknown parts of themselves that, had they not been in that environment, they'd never know about them. And that's the really exciting thing about going on expeditions. So yeah, I can say I've unclimbed mountains, I've wingsuited in places like we did the first wingsuit flight over the Grand Canyon, we did the first wingsuit flight over the 3 biggest cities in Australia, we've wingsuited over the remote outback. I've been on a submersible down to the Titanic. I've, been on ships to, through the Northwest Passage and down to Antarctica. I mean, there are so many experiences, each of which is a sort of, it's a peak experience. But for me, I have deliberately built my skills following my passion, and I set my mind up so that I tend to regard things as possible rather than impossible, and ask the question, well, how can we do it, rather than saying, oh, well, we can't do it. And that's led me to, meet countless kindred spirits like yourself, Amanda, and like people like James Cameron. I was the doctor for the Deep Sea Challenger expedition to go to the Marianas Trench back in 2012. And through that, I've just finished being on an incredible expedition, which was the 5 Deeps expedition logo, which was an expedition to take a commercially certified submersible vehicle to the bottom, the deepest point of each of the 5 oceans. And this was the brainchild of an incredible American entrepreneur called Victor Vescovo. And he spent years building this incredible submersible vehicle that, well, there's a poster I've got a poster on the wall that says it's the most innovative vehicle since Apollo 11. And it probably is, in that it's now commercially certified to go to any point on the ocean floor, with a passenger, with a pilot and a passenger. So that opens up so many incredible possibilities for not only for science, but for exploration. And it's a real mind bender, because, I mean, we know lots about the moon and Mars, and we've got satellites and probes, and we spend lots of money on astronomy. And I get that, because that's a sort of part of our psyche wants to look up to the stars and be inspired by what's out there. But what's even more interesting is what's in here, what's at the bottom of the ocean. And to me, there's a psychological parallel. I said before that I'm fascinated by going into the dark, unknown corners of my own psyche. Well, the expedition that fits perfectly with that is going to the five deeps, the bottom of the ocean. So it was an incredibly exciting expedition to be a part of, and also some interesting, challenging sort of medical things to think about. Because it's a one atmosphere sphere, but it's a completely closed life support system where everything you need has to be supplied, oxygen, everything you don't need has to be removed, carbon dioxide, etc., etc. And to think through all of the life support parameters while you're bobbing up and down in the middle of, well, in one case, when we went to the Southern Ocean, the deepest trench in the Southern Ocean was the South Sandwich Trench, which is about 400 nautical miles southeast of South Georgia and the Sandwich Islands. So that was, well and truly in the screaming 60s. And to have the wherewithal to manage the risk of an ocean like that, with swells like that, with winds like that, with icebergs everywhere, and to put a submersible onto the bottom and recover it safely, that was an incredible logistic challenge that was really exciting to be involved in there. I mean, so many times, I can remember one time we were all standing on deck. We just launched the submersible, and there was all these penguins squawking in the water, and it was so bizarre. It was like they were sort of saying hello, and icebergs around, and it was just whales. It was like, wow, what a place to go, and what an expedition to be on. Sorry, was that 5?
But no, I think we've only done 2. Oh. It's pretty good. I just want to clarify something for the audience. So when you were talking about the wingsuit expeditions, and you say you're talking about you and your amazing wife. That's correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, my wife and I have been wingsuiting together for nearly 20 years now. We actually 17 years. We started in 2003, 2004. So, yeah, we love, expeditioning together. It's because, as I said before, as expeditioning takes you on the internal journey, so going on an expedition or doing something special with your special partner unveils aspects or possibilities in the relationship that you never would have thought possible. I mean, we've seen each other's strengths, we've seen each other's weaknesses in extremis, and we've also shared unique experiences in wonderful, wonderful parts of the world. We have seen things that no other couple has ever seen or experienced. I mean, we did the first wingsuit skydives in Antarctica. I'm a consultant for a company called ALE, Antarctic Logistics and Expeditions, and they have a private base in the near the Ellsworth Mountains in Antarctica, about halfway to the South Pole. And they run mountaineering expeditions to Vinson Massif out of their base, which is a summer base, and they've got lots of aircraft. So they asked Heather and I if we could set up a skydiving operation for times when they're not using the aircraft for the mountaineers. So we now take kind of elite skydivers from all over the world down to experience this environment that is truly special. I mean, to see that aspect of Antarctica, to get out of a plane at 14,000 feet and look out, and on one side, all you're seeing is the Antarctic plateau, and on the other, the Transantarctic mountains going forever, because in Antarctica, there's no dust, there's no pollution, there's no heat haze. So you can literally see 400 kilometres in any direction. And when you get out of the plane, and we just look around and experience a truly surreal, otherworld, special environment. It's wonderful, and to do that together is truly, truly unique.
Wow, that's amazing. And you've spoken a lot about the mindset, and that, part of your motivation for these incredible expeditions is the internal journey, as well as, the seeing the beautiful things and experiencing the highs and the lows and the adrenaline. But, you really do speak about the internal journey. How does one prepare for such epic journeys that have never been done? Like, do you use a psychologist, or do you read books? Do you do Wim Hof? Like, where do you even begin?
So I think it's about having imagination and then having the courage to indulge your imagination, because when I talk about wingsuiting, I often say it's just like when you were a kid and you dreamed about flying, except it's just like that, except that it's a bit kind of louder and more intense, and there are certain rules that you've got to follow. It's that type of every child has really imagined or fantasized about, going on an expedition across the oceans or down to the bottom of the ocean, Jules Verne, 40,000 Leagues Under the Sea. We've all thought about that kind of stuff and fantasized about it, often as children, but it takes a certain level of, I guess, organisation in your own mind to actually commit to do that. And I didn't start just, next weekend I'm going to jump off the highest cliff in the world. It was for me, and also for my wife Heather, it was a gradual process of building our level of competence and confidence, because we all need to have certain skills to deal with these remote, extreme environments. And, I was fortunate being a doctor that I was able to, I had a sort of a map, if you like, of how to go about building skills that you require, the physical, emotional and mental skills. Because medicine is a wonderful training ground of the scientific method. How do you manage the risk of, extreme situations? That's what emergency medicine is kind of about. And that's what a lot of expeditioning medicine is about. It's all very nice until suddenly something, wow, how did that happen? How am I going to manage it? Well, that's it. And you have this, I guess, mental preparedness mindset that as you do more and more, well, as I've done more and more expeditions, so I've become more competent and confident and more able to, I guess, balance the physical and the mental and the emotional aspects of what's going on. And as I do more expeditions, so I become more, I guess I get better at them. It's a sort of strange thing to say, but I get more I understand what's going on more with technology. I understand what's going on more with people, because, you know, putting people into extreme remote environments, on one hand, it can be liberating until, you know, that force 10 gale slaps you in the face. So that's when you kind of got to have those mental resources to be able to deal with that sort of rapidly changing, potentially dangerous environment. And, you know, I've done enough expeditioning now that I'm starting to feel confident about being able to handle a lot more things than I thought were ever possible. And that's a wonderful learning experience. You know, that's a wonderful liberating thing for me. It's like I truly do now think anything is possible.
I think a lot of, you know, our hardcore sailors and round the world sailors and expeditioners will relate to that as well, especially being slapped in the face with wind, for sure. Thank you so much. It's been so great to have you on the show. I think we need to do a 10-chapter series with you on all. I feel like we've only not even touched the surface of all your expeditions, but it's been really amazing to have you on the show. You're such an inspiration, and I'm so excited to be working with you now. And yeah, you're leading the way. And we'll put all your links below. I'm sure there'll be a couple of elite skydivers keen to hook up with you in Antarctica as well. And one last question, actually. How has, you know, 2020 and COVID affected your expeditions? Because you live... Yeah. Are you able to travel?
Well, no, we're not able to leave Australia. Australia has been incredibly fortunate during the pandemic, because, I mean, part of being an island is that we could shut the borders. And so we've just had our third day nationwide, no community transmission, none, zero. Nationwide. It's just incredible. We're only getting now cases that are imported, like overseas visitors coming back to Australia. So that's an incredible public health success, because we went early, we went hard, and that's incredibly liberating, because most of life's pretty normal here in Australia. But for me, it's been a bit disappointing, because I've in 2020 really wasn't able to do. I did some remote expedition consultancy for the Ring of Fire expedition, which was another expedition that Victor Vescovo did to the deepest trenches around the Pacific Rim. But I was sort of the remote doctor. I'm sure you've done this stuff, Amanda, you know, where you're dealing with problems over Zoom and over the internet, and as the ship drops into the trough between the waves, you lose the connection, and then they come up again. Oh, take this medication. It's called Bzzz. It's called Bzzz. That's that sort of stuff has been incredibly challenging, but you know, it's worked out. But I'm really looking, now that, you know, we're looking forward to the vaccine coming, and you know, there's lots of people out there who have got itchy feet and cabin fever and just busting to get out there. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I am looking forward to meeting up with you in Tasmania and taking our doctors on a pretty wild expedition down there, and hopefully we get some good fronts come through that give us the endorphins we need to get back in the game.
Looking forward to that too, Amanda.
I'm looking forward to sharing Tasmania with everyone, actually. It's such a beautiful spot. So, yeah, thanks so much for being on the show, and it's really great to share you with my community. We'll put all your links below so people can stalk you and check out your inspiring videos, and possibly book in a skydiving trip in Antarctica or a trip to the bottom of the ocean. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of super yacht owners and guests that are really inspired and want to get you on board to take them to places that no one thought was possible.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. Wonderful to talk to you, Amanda. Take care.